So once a month, we always come together and we end up actually doing our Dead Wrong series, where our followers actually get to choose the debate topics. We go through a bunch of different cool stuff, and it maybe gets them going on different conversations and
Within the
maybe.
comment section.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys could get into the comment section, have debates with us. We'll probably be answering you guys. And basically, this is the basis and the format of this type of episode for you guys that have not came in yet. This is our fourth edition, I think, right now. And basically, everyone from TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, of course, and our Discord chat gets to send us questions. We take screenshots. And Nick is actually going to be on this episode. Shout out Nick. And he's going to be reading out these questions, and we don't know them yet. So what's your favorite part about doing these just before we actually start off?
It's kind of being able to see the variety of questions that come from each platform, just because the TikTok audience is different from, let's say, the YouTube audience, and they'll ask a different type of question.
That is true.
So, I mean, seeing that's always dope. But what's cool, too, is that, this is our first community episode within the new studio, and it's awesome. People are really liking the cozy vibe and more the basement type of style of it. So
absolutely,
it's awesome to kind of have this homecoming for us here.
Yeah, and shout out Ayce, because he's gonna he's one of our followers from the Discord, and he's gonna be on at the end of the episode. So like we usually do, we bring one of you guys on and kick the shit with us. So Nick, I say we start this off. That intro was long enough, and let's get this going.
Okay, so the first one we always start with YouTube. So
okay, fire.
Start from Owen from YouTube.
Okay.
He said Nightcrawler over Oh My Desire. I love both songs, but I feel like Nightcrawler doesn't get enough recognition as it's an absolutely incredible song.
That's absolute facts that it doesn't get enough recognition. I mean, it's one of the biggest bangers, I think, in Travis's whole catalog. It's up there with No Bystanders. It's up there with Antidote. It's really one of his hardest hitting songs. And, obviously the features make it too. Sway Lee did his thing on there. But
wait, hold on. You think it's
but
facts though?
But it's not better than. No, I said it was facts that it was slept on, but it's not better than Oh My Desire.
Okay, that's when I was gonna hop in and I was gonna be like, whoa, we're not starting off the episode on that note. The only reason why I wouldn't say it's not over Oh My Decide is just because of that beat switch on Oh My Decide. It's way too iconic. It was the first collaboration between Quavo and Travis Scott, and the first of many. So
I don't think it was their first. They collabed on
no, it wasn't
on
their
days before. But that was as the Migos, you could say.
Yeah,
so.
but it was like their first them two collab.
True.
That either way, I think it was the one that hit home the most.
Is it their best collab in your opinion?
Definitely,
I agree with that.
Definitely, maybe Pick Up the Phone is up there as well, but but that's a great claim. Nightcrawler is slept on, especially when you go through the whole track. Sway Lee on that is crazy. I love the whole toy and mechanic aspect of the production too. That's really cool. So it is definitely slept on, but I do not think it is better than Oh My Decide. But we're starting off good. That was a great question. Let's get to the next.
This one's fun. It's from Jace, still on YouTube. He said, "Who do you think has a better discography? 21 Savage, Lil Uzi Vert, or Lil Baby?"
Oh,
this is good. Okay, right away, I'm gonna take Lil Baby out of the conversation.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna push him to the side.
Yeah, you don't even if we were to go through Harder Than Hard, Harder Than Ever, My Turn. He has some standouts.
They're good projects, and there's definitely bangers on those albums. But I mean, there's nothing really as an album. I'm never gonna be looking at them, within, let's say, a Hall of Fame of trap. I wouldn't put them there. Even My Turn, which is his best album, in my opinion, isn't in that upper echelon of trap music. In terms of 21 Savage and Uzi, that's where it gets interesting. I mean, to think about who has the best album between the two of them, I'd give it to 21 with Without Warning. I think that's the best album.
Well, that's a collaboration tape, though.
Yeah, as a solo album.
Let's say solo discography, because Without Warning is an automatic trump for anything. But let's say solo discography, they do both have iconic mixtapes. They do have really nice studio albums, but at the end of the day, I think when it comes down to it, if you go through Uzi's discography,
it is pretty solid.
There is Lil Uzi Vert versus the World, Love Is Rage 2, the first Love Is Rage, the Perfect Love tape. There's just way too much quality in there. And one thing with Uzi is his projects are so well structured, and out of anyone else in trap music, I feel as if besides Future and Travis, he has that spot for me at the number 3 discography. Well, there's Thug in there as well, and there's a lot of different people, but no, I would say Uzi's more in the top 10, towards
you can't tell me that it's not a close race, though. I mean, you have the fucking Savage Mode series, you have I'm Greater Than I Was.
For modern trap, for what we came up with in the new gen, I would say that Uzi has a top 10. I wouldn't say top 3. That was an overstatement by a mile, but I would say top 10.
Of all time for trap, you're saying?
It's up there. I think it's up there. I mean, I would definitely put, I think I would do Travis, Future, Young Thug, Gucci Mane.
T.I.
Jeezy before Ti.
Fair.
I would do Ti, and the first four artists
Gu-
on.
Gu- Gucci Mane's discography has been fucking like slacking off a bit now, but I
But he
mean,
has iconic projects.
he
Still.
does. He definitely
have.
does.
So you see, like Uzi definitely comes after those guys, but I do think he's still in the contention. But the thing is that like 21 Savage's discography is very unique. I think like example, I Am Greater Than I Was. That's a super unique album. Like, it completely saw him transform as an artist, and it took his artistry to a whole different level. I mean, you have Savage Mode, which is a classic mixtape in my opinion, like all the way back in 2016. That's what kicked off everything, and it not only did something for 21 Savage, it also did for, so much for Metro Boomin. So I do have to say it's pretty even, but Uzi has the edge for me.
That's
here.
fair enough. I'll agree with you on that.
Okay, let's get on to the next one. Let's see what's going on. That's another great. We got some great conversations.
All right,
going on.
so this is a Pickle, still on YouTube. He says, it's actually a pretty good take in my opinion. Nav is overhated and underrated for no reason.
Yeah. So here's the thing with Nav for me. His self-titled mixtape, which came out, I think it was 2017, was great. I mean, he had just signed with EXO, and you had Nav really taking over with this new sound that wasn't familiar to anybody, and the production was amazing.
Well,
he
Speaker
actually,
Knockers Loki had it done before. That was the only. That was
you
my
feel like he's similar to Speaker Knockers?
in a very weird way. Yes.
I really don't hear that,
no,
man.
not in a weird way. Actually, yes, I do hear it that way. Like the sort of flow he's using, the sort of production. I do have to say that Nav. If I have to say like one style it's attributed to, I would say it sounds most like.
I'd
Speaker
say the
Knockers.
only thing they have in common is that they both have a hit song called "Lonely." I mean, apart
No,
from
but,
that,
like,
I mean,
I'm not- I'm
no,
talking
I'm just saying in terms of aesthetically speaking, I don't hear the similarities in sound personally.
Well, I would say just looking at both of their flows and like the way that it's not that it's monotone, but it never really, it's not too dynamic in the way that it goes down, and like it's always sort of flat.
Well, look-
and not only that, but the content matter between both of them are extremely fucking similar.
Well, look, for Nav, I mean, the auto tune really, drove that self-titled mixtape all the way.
Well, so that it's that autotune did wonders for Speaker.
I know,
Knockers,
but I
though.
just don't feel like they have the same voice and the same kind of vocal projections at all.
Well, obviously not on that level, but I would mean
Even
just on a-
even flow-wise, I don't really hear it, man.
No, I'm telling you, go back to that self-titled mix and bro, like it's an actual thing. Like I've heard academics make a crazy like take on it, and it's actually true.
But I
And
mean,
if I'm telling you, if Speaker Knockers wouldn't have passed away, like he would have had that whole lane on lock. I'm telling you, and it really did pop off. And it's just like Nav obviously added his own flavor to it, but I'm saying like I saw the evolution of that go down.
maybe. I mean, I personally have not heard that, but I mean, looking back at Nav's career right now, he's put out kind of bad project after bad project at this point, and I feel like when he made his splash on the scene with Biebs in the Trap, that was mind blowing, and that's what really set him apart from the rest because, like I said, his voice was really distinct from anything else we were hearing in trap music, but. His latest projects just weren't it. And, I was a big fan of that self-titled, but now I find myself really hating his fucking albums, man. I got to be honest.
I think there's like Perfect Timing was a solid effort.
That was okay.
But I don't think anything's ever lived up to that first self-titled mixtape, especially like how legendary that was in Toronto and what, he had done, and that whole come up story was just absolutely ridiculous. That's another thing is that people kind of talk down on Nav's name but don't know how well respected he is within the industry like that. So it is cool to, see where he's at in his career. I wish he would start producing more albums. That's what I really want from him. I think his production is a lot better than his rapping, and like we saw what that type of production could do for someone like Travis Scott. And
For sure.
that's why people like Travis Scott, Young Thug, they keep him around because they understand how valuable he is as an engineer and as a producer. So I do gotta salute to Nav.
Yeah,
Fuck with
let's
him.
get on the next one.
Let's do this.
Okay, so this is a hot take. I don't know if you guys are ready for this one.
No, let's hear this.
This is from James, still on YouTube. He says, Tory Lanez greater than Travis Scott. I know they're about to hate me for this one, but musically he bodies the trap sound more and way more versatile. Travis to me is hugely overrated. This is James from YouTube.
I'll let you take that one.
Sheesh. Man. I don't know. Because like I feel as if none of that really made sense at all. Like
The whole take, you're saying?
yeah, like, and that's no offense to James. Like, you're allowed to have your own subjective music, but like, I just feel like when you look at Travis and you see like what he's been able to do in his discography, He's way more calculated discography wise. I mean, if you look at his his 3 studio albums with his 2 iconic mixtapes and what Tory Lanez has, he doesn't even have nearly a project that even reaches the level of, I would say, like Birds. That's maybe like even like the New Toronto 2 or even the first New Toronto. Those are the only 2 like projects I'd put near there, and for me they don't even pass that. So that's one. Versatility. I mean, if you want to talk about what Travis Scott did for the trap lane and how experimental his sound was, and how he fused a bunch of different sounds into one album, example like Astroworld, or brought a whole different concept to something like Rodeo, I think it's just flying over someone's head at that point.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that Travis is necessarily more versatile than Tory Lanez in the sense that, Tory Lanez has multiple R&B albums as well as, shit like the New Toronto series where, he's rapping with some really hard, hitting trap beats and trap drums. And I mean, look, Tory Lanez bar for bar would beat Travis Scott.
Okay, bar for bar, yes, I would say that. But as far as versatility in the sound, I don't think there's anything that sounds nearly the same to what Travis is doing right now.
I think the way that Travis fused psychedelic hip hop and his auto tune and all of his vocal complexions into the trap scene has been mind blowing, and the catalog that he's built compares nowhere near to Tory Lanez's catalog. But at the same time, vocally speaking, at least, I feel like Tory Lanez maybe does have that edge in terms of versatility.
Well, maybe as far as like his artistry aspect to him, like the way that he's able to dip into 2 different lanes, I do agree with you. It's just like when I listen to Travis Scott, it's not 2 different lanes, or it's not like that sort of vibe. Like for me, it's like 15 different genres being fused into one song, and all the types of samples that he brings in, the types of producers and production that he has. I mean, like when your albums are getting mixed and mastered by Mike Dean, the production choices are automatically going towards Travis's favor.
Oh, 100%. Production wise, for sure.
And not only that, but like I could argue the fact that like, yes, maybe Tory Lanez does get him in the R&B side of things, but if I want to talk about producing, I give it to Travis Scott.
But I feel like the question was that Tory Lanez was the better rapper. Is that what it was?
Well, he pretty much said, hold on.
As the better rapper, yes.
Because I feel like as the better artist, it is Travis. You know what I mean?
Out of the better artist, it is Travis by a long shot. Like material-wise, like the way he's like, what was it?
He says that, I know they're about to hate me for this one, but musically he bodies the trap sound more. And then he says he's way more versatile than Travis. And he also says that Travis is just hugely overrated.
No, I definitely wouldn't say that Travis is overrated. I mean, what he's been able to do, the way, like you said, infusing different genres within the trap scene has been mind-blowing. So I would not say that he's overrated in any way. I would say maybe that vocally he has more versatility in the sense that he has that R&B aspect to his music too. But, I mean, what Travis is capable of musically and artistically in the grand scale of things is beyond, Tory Lanez's
It's beyond anyone in the industry right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's making music like that in the industry right now, especially with how consistent his drops are. Like, I mean, who's really bumping Daystar at this point? And like, that's no disrespect to like Tory Lanez. Like, he's an awesome fucking artist. Like, the New Toronto series are iconic. The Chicks Tape series are iconic. Like, there's a lot of good stuff with him. But I mean, we're talking about a really cemented discography right now in modern hip hop, and I think that even beyond that, Travis Scott is going to be considered more of an artist at the end of the day, rather than even just a rapper, just for the types of projects that he's put together. So that's kind of my take on it. But I do agree that, the versatility, Tory is there. That's the only thing maybe I could see it, but I could say that back with the producing. But that was a really good one. That got me talking.
So this is the last one from YouTube. It's from Alfredo. This one's a fun one too. He says 2000 to 2003 Jay-Z over 94 to 97 Tupac.
Oh,
that's super tough, man.
That's I don't know, because like you do have the Blueprint and the Black Album in there.
You do,
and you do have La Familia in there as well. And then 94 to 97, you have Me Against the World. You have All Eyes on Me. And what did he drop in 94?
94. I think it was Strictly for My.
Okay, and then that's tough.
That's super tough.
Wow, that is a good conversation.
Because you have Tupac's 2 best projects, and in my opinion, arguably 2 of Jay-Z's best projects within that time span. So basically the question to me is, who had the better prime, Jay-Z or Tupac?
Okay, but like, how would we even break that down? Would that have to be like us taking the albums and comparing them to each other?
That, or just like who, really dominated that time period, I would say.
So
it's just so different because musically they're such different artists. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They contributed to different things within the genre. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
I feel as if the approach with Tupac was way more spiritual more than anything. It was way more socially based, especially with the type of content matter he was rapping about. I feel like, but with Jay-Z, it was more of the professional sort of thing where he laid down the blueprint for everyone to go live a free ownership life. So, and that's at least what I got out of the the blueprint and the Black Album. And then La Familia has iconic has iconic songs on there, and I fucked with Siegel on there as well, and there was just like there was too much going on there. Like it was fire. So I don't know. That's really tough. I mean, I would probably give it to Tupac because I don't think like there's anything probably as iconic there. Like I would probably even put like maybe Eminem's 3 album run or Lil Wayne's like prime in front of Jay's.
Yeah, that's
I would
fair.
say like in my opinion, what I appreciate Jay for is the longevity and consistency over the years.
more
Like
than the
concept-
actual prime
like
of within a
I
couple
think
years.
he has the greatest career in hip hop. I don't think he has the greatest prime because he's always low key stayed in his prime. Like Jay-Z's never fallen off. Like
That's true.
That's I see him more as like like the godfather of hip hop. The primes you could compare because like Eminem had a prime, Lil Wayne had a prime. I think that Tupac, well, obviously he wasn't able to live out his career, but Jay-Z, it's just like it's been so consistent, not only music wise, but the way he's been able to get involved into the industry too. So I think he was constantly in his prime.
Yeah, but you still can't deny, what Jay-Z did within that run where he was literally on top of the game. He was carrying the New York scene on his back, and nobody was coming close to him.
I know,
And
but I could also argue that like his prime Loki started in '96 with Reasonable Doubt.
you could say that for sure.
I don't like even like. The
But I
hard-
mean, right after that, you had the Volume series where
it was solid.
it was solid. It wasn't his best work, but it was definitely
It
solid.
was kind of a dip off in the music, but like I still think they're really good projects, especially number one. But then obviously you get that 3 album run from 2000 to 2003, and like it's absolutely amazing. And then obviously he retires, comes back with some mediocre projects in my eyes.
Yeah.
He did have a little bit of a dry spell there, but how could we really say it has a prime when he drops 444? 444 is up there with those projects in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a top 3, top 4 Jay-Z project. But I mean, look, it's two very tough artists to compare.
That
Two
is
totally
true.
different lanes.
Who would you say had a bigger impact on the industry as a whole, though? That's something that I do want to ask you. How do you feel about that?
Probably Tupac, just because, I mean, it was on a social level and he was really influencing people also to just be very vulnerable in their lyrics and, push social agendas towards the greater good of the average population and not just, rapping about the more, I guess, egotistical shit and kind of, about the cars, the money, the women. It was much
very
deeper than
different.
that. Yeah.
It was very deep. It was ghetto gospel at the end of the day, and like that's what he did best with it. But again, another great conversation.
And
That was nice.
since we're about to hit off of YouTube, I want to mention the actual comment of the month for Community Day.
Okay, let's
I want to
do this.
introduce this. So it's on our Kendrick video on everything we know about Kendrick Lamar's new album in 2021.
Okay, what does it say?
And it comes from Prof in New York, and he wrote, "Me walking in a desert. It's been cough cough 1,464 days since the new K. Dot album. Please save us."
That's crazy. That is true.
It's pretty
It's
jokes.
a drought, man.
It is a drought.
It is a drought.
It is, man.
That's such a relatable quote. No, you're good. No stress.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
super relatable, and I feel like at this point, I mean, a lot of people are relying on Kendrick to drop just to give them a new light in life. You know what I mean? Because his rhymes over time have provided guidance to society in general, and I feel like people need that in the times that we're living in now.
I do think so. A Kendrick album is much needed to give insight. I think the type of insight you get from a Kendrick album is absolutely ridiculous, and you'll see what happens with it. Like it's just gonna be crazy. I think it's gonna be a crazy album. But that was a good album. That was a good comment for the month. That Kendrick video went crazy, by the way. I think it's up to like 45,000 right now. So thank you guys for that, by the way. That was cool of you guys. But yes, let's keep this going.
So this is in the Discord. So shout out to all the boys in the Discord.
Absolutely.
And this comes from Julian. He says, "What is your most unpopular opinion about anything in rap?"
You go.
Most
Give one.
unpopular opinion. Wow,
You go first.
that's super tough.
You
I
go
don't know, man.
You go first.
A very unpopular opinion. I can't think of anything off the top.
If you want my honest opinion,
Go for it.
I feel like a lot of the productions nowadays are absolutely garbage. Like a lot, like the producing right now in the industry, like whenever I listen to the Baby or like Polo G, I'm like, fuck, man, these guys could eat such better productions. The dip down in quality in producing has just dropped. It's absolutely dropped. There's really no one with good produced
And do you
projects anymore.
think that's a product of kind of the direction hip hop's going into, like musically, or is it a fact that becoming maybe too simple to produce, so people are getting lazy with it and not really innovating?
I don't know, but I feel like I hear the same guitar strings every single song I go into. Like it's a bit weird at this point. And yes, obviously the artists are fantastic and creatively like they're doing some genius shit. But I think if they were given better producers and better beats, just the industry as a whole would be just a lot more vibrant. Like I think that people also have to start like experimenting with their sound because there's a lot of stuff that I hear and it just sounds too similar to what's already come out. So I think now more than ever, like we're in such a dry spell. Not for the fact that no one's dropping. It's just like everything sounds recyclable. Like I haven't had a project that's really sat with me like that, like since maybe like Burden Approved, to be honest with you, or Brockhampton's new project. Like those are the only like really two big projects I think that are still in my rotation like that. So I think people just have to step the fuck up, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. For my unpopular opinion, man, I'm really trying to wrap my head around something. Um, I can't think of anything, man.
Oh,
I really
come on.
can't.
I think you have one down there, but you just don't want to release it on the episode. I think someone's gonna. Guys, listen. If you guys are watching through this,
I would say that, I mean,
those comments
okay,
ready.
you know what? This is my unpopular opinion. I don't think that anyone within the new generation, for the most part, has the potential to reach the status that Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole have reached. I don't think anyone's going to be on that level musically, artistically, and in terms of strength of discography. I don't think anyone has the potential to achieve it.
no one.
Nobody. That would be my
But yeah,
unpopular
that's a
opinion.
good take. I agree with that. Fuck yeah. I mean, who would you even have to like? You can't even put anyone
There's
in
a
that
couple of great artists that are on the come up. Don't get me wrong, but like
on that level I
to
don't think
reach,
so.
you know, that's that legendary GOAT status of someone like Lil Wayne, someone like Eminem, someone like Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. I don't see it right now.
Big names.
Hopefully someone comes along, a new prophet for hip hop, but right now I'm not seeing it.
Maybe Corday. Maybe Corday.
I don't know.
I don't even.
I don't
like,
see
I
it.
think it's still a reach, but like the only guy I really see in there is Corday.
Maybe Jid, but he's he's kind of in his prime right now. He's
Yeah,
30
and,
years old.
and he kind of already has a cemented discography with two fantastic projects. So no,
Joey Badass,
no,
potentially.
but he's already up there for me. Like I think not on the level of like exposure wise, but I think as a rapper and as discography, like Joey has to be in that conversation. Absolutely, he's too slept on. I mean I don't like. The two best projects in all of their discographies combined would probably be To Pimp a Butterfly and 1999 with GKMC like in that three mix there. Those would probably be the three best albums out of everything there.
You
if I
could
had
say
to rank
Roddy
them.
Rich maybe too. I mean, just in
No.
terms of commercial success, but
I don't think so. I don't think he has the discography to do so.
he only has, one real, debut studio album out, so
No,
we'll
I
have
know,
to see.
but I mean like based on what he's released so far, it's nothing compared to it's nothing comparable to what's.
It
what they
depends
were
what
doing.
direction he goes in, because he can go on more of his trap sound with the Feed the Street series, or he can do something where he's really tapping into more of his personal type stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Although, I do think that he will be one of the most commercially successful rappers
For sure.
of our generation. I think that he's on a really great rap road, and like he will go down as a remembered name in this industry for sure. But that was another great question. Let's get on to the next
So
one.
yeah, we're gonna jump onto Instagram because I want to give everyone a chance over here, and this is from Miz. This is actually a fun one. He said, rank from worst to best. The song One Shot, Two Shot, When the Music Stops, and Under the Influence.
Oh,
Oh shit.
Under the
Wow.
Influence, number one.
Okay. When the Music Stops, number 2.
Yeah, over One Shot, Two Shot.
I think so.
Oh, I like that song. I really like One Shot, Two Shot.
Fuck,
I
man.
don't
That's so tough.
Nick, what are you saying, man?
Yeah, what are you saying?
Yeah,
I
what-
want
what's
to see.
your-
I want to
honestly,
see your
I'm
take
trying to
on
think
this.
about
And-
it
and-
right now. I honestly have no idea. I'm trying to think of what I would put first, because When the Music Stops is...
Yeah, When the Music Stops is really.
I feel like One Shot, Two Shot's probably the best hook out of the 3.
I think it was just the best performance too, like just to pull off that whole cinematic value within the actual track list too, like the gunshots and like the car scurrying off and like how everyone came together throughout it, like it was like one big story. Like that's what I liked about it. I think it was one of like, one of the coolest Eminem songs I heard and like in his whole discography.
Facts.
It was really well put up cinematically. But yeah, Under the Influence is for sure my number one.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Let's get on
Yeah,
to the
so
next
this
one.
is still on Instagram. This is from Tiago. He
Yeah.
said, "What's both your top 5 right now?"
Top 5 rappers right now?
Yeah.
Right now, yeah. Top 5 rappers right now.
Of people that are active, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say my top 5. Denzel Curry's in there. Kendrick Lamar's in there. Who else would I put in there? I would put Isaiah Rashad in there. Who else would I put? I'm liking what Call Me the Machine's doing right now.
Yeah, that's a great name in there. I would put Kendrick,
Okay.
Joey, Rocky for sure, Travis, and that's a difficult question. Maybe Schoolboy Q.
Yeah, you'd have him high up
Maybe
in there.
Schoolboy Q. I'm a really big fan of Schoolboy Q. Like maybe that. Isaiah Rashad would be a pick in there as well. I had McJenkins in my mind too for a bit. I'm a big fan of McJenkins. I would Isaiah Rashad, of course.
I would maybe put Anderson .Paak if he counts in my top 5. He would cap off my number 5 spot.
He's definitely one of the most talented artists in the industry right now.
Yeah.
What do you think about like what he could do on a bigger scale?
I mean, there's a Silk Sonic album on the way.
I want that,
I'm
man.
super down for that, and I feel like him and Bruno are just gonna bring, the smoothest music that we're gonna get all fucking year long, and that's gonna be super vibey for the summer. But yeah, man, Anderson .Paak has it all from hip hop to R&B to funk, soul. Does it all?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about with him. But that was another good question, guys. Man, we're running through these. Man.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to take one more from Twitter and then one more from TikTok, and we'll end it right there.
But
The one I have from Twitter is actually pretty interesting, and I personally want to know what you guys think about this take. It's from Shady4L. He said, Pac and Biggie shouldn't be top 3 because their discogs are so short. Top 3 longevity has to factor in. So what do you think about that?
Pac's discography isn't short.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if you count if you disclude the posthumous albums, even at that though, it's not a short discography.
It's not a short.
It's still a complete discography. You know what I mean? Obviously, Biggie only had the 2 albums.
But they're two top 2. Like Ready to Die is like arguably top 5, and like Life After Death is arguably like you could make an argument that's a top 20 album of all time.
What I hate is that when people say, if those artists didn't pass away, then no one would have them at the stature that they do. And that's total bullshit just because they're 2 of the most influential artists of all time. I mean, if you look at what Biggie did, with his melodic flow and how that's still being used today and how no one really was doing it before him besides maybe artists like Scarface, that was revolutionary. If you look at, the type of lyricism that, Tupac brought from track to track and the way that he was being very expressive about, his freedom and what he thinks that he deserved and, kind of the change he wanted to see in the world. That was on a revolutionary scale too. And that's something that influenced some of the biggest artists in today's era, like Kendrick. So, I mean, their influence is living on decades later, and you can't ignore that.
Absolutely. Just with the limited amount of work, right? And the thing with Biggie is that if you think Jay-Z set the blueprint, well, by that standard, then Biggie was the original founder of that blueprint. Like the guy that was, doing the talk shows and absolutely, creating that commercial brand. And, he was the one that really started doing that sort of persona. And like, there was not many, I think he was actually one of the first artists to start doing like that heavy sort of marketing. And if you look at the quality of Ready to Die to Life After Death, it's scary because they're low-key both on the same level. Like that guy could have easily had, the best 3 album run of all time if he would have dropped, nearly on the quality that was. Not only that, but I mean, if you look at Tupac, the type of content matter that he was rapping about was not only revolutionary, but it had a lot of people thinking like, okay, this is what rap music should be like. This is what pure lyricism should sound like. The type of value you're getting out of this is on a different level. Like you're getting life gospel advice for, let's say in our case, $9.99 a month for streaming services, right? And then think about how he was really one of the biggest influencers for the West Coast market and how that absolutely exploded and how that helped the whole Death Row era and helped Dr. Dre. So there's a lot of shit that goes into it that I think like, yes, they definitely do deserve that.
I
That
think
those top three
I think it's
placements.
insulting at this point if they're not in your top 5, in my opinion, at least.
No, that can't be.
Yeah.
That can be. I mean, I do think that there is a better. Is there even a better lyricism to Tupac? But yes, there are maybe better writers, but like Tupac was just on a different level of
He was.
lyricism. But that was another great question. That was good.
So this is
What
the
else we
last
got?
one. This is from TikTok.
Yeah,
This is from Gio. Simple question. He said, which rapper inspired you the most?
Kendrick.
Mm.
Kendrick. I'm gonna start that off the bat with Kendrick. I think Kendrick just made me understand what the value of music was. It was nothing more than that. It was just like it sort of set my expectations for everything else, and I don't think there's anyone that breaks that for me. I've listened to like a lot of music, and I have to say that the type of quality that Kendrick puts up is it's different level. It's a different level of perfection, and that's why I have so much respect for him. Is that if I'm gonna take time to go through his album, he knows that he owes me low key a fantastic fucking listen. And that's the thing is that a lot of artists don't do it on the level of consistency that Kendrick has been doing it on. Kendrick doesn't have a miss. There's no such thing as missing with Kendrick. I've never listened to a bad Kendrick verse. I'm sorry. Every single time you go into a Kendrick verse, not only are you getting quality music, you're getting quality knowledge. He was doing what Tupac was doing and did it for the newer generation of people. And that's what I fuck with about his music is that it wasn't commercialized, it wasn't made to be plastic, regardless of the amount of album sales that he was doing, because he did 630,000 if my memory serves me correct on Damn. He still puts in his heart and soul into everything that he writes, and it's always one big complete story. So how about you?
Yeah, I would say that, for me would probably be Biggie just because, he's the rapper that really made me fall in love with the genre and maybe made me see that. I mean, he showed me what hip hop was all about, and that it was about, putting your heart and soul into every bar that you write and every bar that you spit into the mic. And that's what Biggie did. And he came, from nothing, and he basically created music based on his life experiences and kind of always adapted to his new life. And on an album like Life After Death, it was him, reacting to the fame, reacting to the money, and how people kind of switched up on him, and kind of how he got trust issues and became more skeptical as the fame came through. And I feel like Biggie was always, ahead of his time, and always, on a technical level, it was just the most powerful rapper in terms of his flow, his rhyme schemes, his way to craft a complex concept album. And to me, I mean, his 2 projects that he has in his discography and that he left us with are both masterpieces.
That is facts. Not a single lie told there. Biggie's a legend. I don't like anyone that talks down on Biggie's music. Like, it's way too good to be talked down upon. It's way too fucking good. Like, you can't even. There's not a single flaw within his music. Like,
He's never dropped a whack verse. Never. It's
never.
never
And I
happened.
think I think he's probably the most versatile rapper of all time.
You could say.
The way his deliveries, his flows, his arsenal of being able to come on and still the type of content matter he was doing. Like, he could do gangster rap, he could do melodic rap. Well, he was low-key one of the first ones to ever introduce that. Not only that, but if you want to talk about his storytelling, you want to talk about his insightful songs, like, there's just too much material, and it was wrapped up into beautiful concepts. So I do agree with you. But that was great. Is that the end of the questions?
That's the end. Do you guys want more? I could shoot you another quick one. If
No,
you want.
let's bring in Ayce.
Absolutely. Let's bring in Ace. Okay, Ace, we're going to show you on the screen. There we go. Boom. What's going on, bud?
What's up?
How's everything with you, man?
Good. Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna get to ask you some questions, man. We're gonna chop it up a bit before this episode finishes. Thank you for following us, by the way. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, of course.
So go ahead, man. First of all, I want to ask you, as far as like your top 3 active rappers right now, who are you really listening to as far as music? Tough question. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Are we thinking like rappers or just artists in general?
Well, let's say artists in general, because I like how you brought that up.
Yeah. So I'm a very, very big fan of Ariana Grande. It's
Okay,
a little bit
fire.
weird. Like, people don't really accept it. Yeah. I mean, expect it. But yeah. Currently, I'd say I've been listening to a lot of Ariana Grande, a lot of Saba, and
Fire.
Saba's great.
That's
yeah,
a great choice. Care for
and
Me is fantastic.
yeah. And I'd say Cudi right now. A lot of Cudi.
Really? What type of Cudi? What do you want? More of his newer stuff, or maybe Man on the Moon series? Like, what are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I've only actually heard his Man on the Moon series. but the like mainly the second one, I've been listening to a lot of that.
Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying is really a great listen.
I liked
I
it
would
too.
check that out.
I did like
I'll
it as
definitely have to
well.
listen to it.
Okay, so what do you got for us, man? Ask away.
Okay, well, here I have this something set up. but
Okay, no stress. Go ahead, man. Do your thing.
Basically, I talked about it a little bit before this podcast started, but I have a wall over here that has a bunch of album covers, and I just wanted to show it to you guys, and I wanted to ask a
absolutely. Go
question
for
with
that,
it.
man. That's fire as fuck.
So
How are you gonna do that? Okay, boom.
here you can see it, right?
Oh,
Yes, sir.
fire.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know and get a good look at all of them. Which one would you probably say is your favorite out of this wall?
Okay, fire, man. I'm automatically going to Swimming in 1999.
Those are mine too.
Yeah.
Those
to
would be
honest.
those would be my two of them. Astroworld would be in that mix.
Also,
Flower Boy is fantastic. Obviously MDTF is great. Denzel Curry is up there too.
Is Taboo on there?
Taboo is on there. It's in the top right.
Yeah.
That was a great concept album. But yeah, how about you? I would say maybe between 1999 and Swimming. What would you say?
Well, now that Taboo's in the mix, it turns into a top 3 race
No,
because
Taboo is not in that.
Taboo is in that conversation easily.
Nah,
that was the best album of 2018.
Oh my goodness. No,
That was the best album of 2018, man.
no, we're not doing
Go
this.
back and listen.
I'll give you
We have
three
to
albums
have
better
this actual debate,
than-
man.
No.
One day we're
no.
gonna have the debate.
No, I'll end it right now. There's Daytona, Swimming, and I would put even Astroworld low key.
Taboo is number 1 for me 2018. It's in the running with Daytona, of course, and Astroworld,
Even
and
Kids See Ghosts.
it's not better than Taboo. No, it's not.
Kids See Ghosts
It's
is
not better than Taboo,
Oh,
no.
my goodness. Oh.
You hated on that album since it came out, man.
No, what do you mean? No, I didn't. Absolutely not. It was a fantastic concept album. I definitely have to revisit
So
it. But
what are the flaws with it then for you?
there was no flaws with it. I'm just gonna tell you the sort of things I got out of the other three albums. Mac Miller's Swimming is low key his best studio album, and for what that did for the genre and how he was able to leave off with that album and the types of content matter he was putting about there, just about self acceptance and depression, anxiety, and the types of stuff that he was overcoming was super vulnerable. The types of sounds and productions that I got on Kids See Ghosts were really, really, really iconic, and I probably got one of the best Kid Cudi and Kanye performances of all time on Reborn. Not only that, but if you want to go to Pusha T's Daytona, it's 7 for 7. It's probably one of the best Coke albums I have ever heard in my life.
Okay, and what Denzel did with Taboo was that he separated his album into 3 different acts and had a concept album about gray clouds hovering over him throughout his entire life, and also how the industry kind of uses artists, and you hear that on songs like Cloud Cobain, you hear that on Perks about how the drug culture is taking over, then you hear him opening up about all the abuse that he went through as a child on a song like Taboo, and the way that his energy changes from one act to the second and the third, and how it gets more dark and aggressive as you go through it, was absolute genius. Some of the best flow switches that you'll ever hear on an album throughout songs like Sumo. And I mean, nobody was on that level in terms of versatility, because you got screamo rap, you got more melodic songs like Black Balloons. So to me, that was the best album. It was the best concept album of the year for sure.
It was definitely the best concept album, but if you want to talk about quality on a project, let's go back to Daytona and talk about those Kanye West samples. I mean, that is some of the best
But
Kanye
look,
West production.
that's subjective at the end of the day. If you find Daytona better than Taboo or Swimming better than Taboo,
Yeah,
I'm saying
but-
that to me.
but this whole conversation is
but for you, but for you to tell me that Taboo isn't up there is bullshit.
No, well, it's
You
not.
can't,
It doesn't
you
meet
can't tell me
top
that it's
three.
not on that. Yeah, it is in that top 3.
It
It's
doesn't
number
meet
1.
that top 3.
It's
Never.
number 1 for me.
No, especially actually leave that down in the comments. Fuck this. We'll never get to a conversation. Leave that down in the comments. Let's see what that goes on. But that was a good first question. That got us talking. But let's keep going.
yeah. Wow, that was a lot. Yeah. So another question. Out of the last decade that we've had of music from 2010 to 2019, which one would you guys say had the best, like just music, rap music overall?
The best year between 2010 and 2019?
Yeah.
2018 for sure.
2018 is up there.
I think that, other years that compare would probably be 2015.
2016 as well was up there.
Yeah.
2012 was a bit lacking. The early 2000s were a bit lacking in comparison. Everything's really started getting great that I feel like from 2013 and up. That's my subjective take. I know we got GKMC in 2012, but besides that,
2011 had some good projects. You had Section 80, you had The Sideline Story, you had Undone. You had some great albums in that year.
Yeah, but I feel as if it started getting stronger as the decade started
For
to
sure.
progress, and then I think the drop off was in 2019. I don't think
2013 was super strong too.
2013 was a strong year. How do you feel about 2014? Would sound like, let's say, like Nothing Was the Same and like Forest Hill Drive.
That was a strong year too. But yeah, I think I agree that, you know, in the later half of the 2010s decade, it definitely picked up. What's your favorite year of the decade, the Ayce?
Yeah, I'm honestly like 2018. 2018 is definitely like it's honestly just a tie between like 2018 and 2016 for me, because 2016 had a lot of, you know, we got two Uzi projects. We got Blonde by Frank Ocean, Mac Miller's Divine Feminine, but 2018 we had Earl Sweatshirt's Some Rap Songs, which is like currently my favorite album, I'd say. We had, you know, Astroworld, the Saba Care For Me album. Yeah, so, but yeah, I'll say 2018 though, probably 2018.
I agree with you there.
2018 is definitely a super strong year. But okay, go on to the next man. Let's see what else you got.
So yeah, okay. Earlier, and you guys were talking about some more old school rap, or like in the older like 90s and early 2000s. I haven't even heard a lot of that music, but my question to you guys is, which one would you guys prefer? That older 90s and early 2000s music, or the music that we currently are getting as recently?
As of recently, obviously, then I would say late 90s, early 2000s. It blows it out of the water as far as like what was being released at the time. I mean, Outkast was at full effect. Eminem was in his prime. Dr. Dre was working with Eminem at that time. Jay-Z was doing his thing. Lil Wayne was starting off of his career too. What we were getting out of, let's say, like DMX was crazy.
Nas was doing amazing too.
50 Cent came in, more of like 2003, but still, I'll still consider it there. Like I think there was just too much iconic stuff within there just to like say, okay. Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, those types of projects paved the way for what we have now. So, I mean,
yeah, and we've also had like decades to kind of age with them and, you know, see how they've, you know, stacked up amongst the best albums of all time. So I feel like, you know, it's kind of hard to compare, but I do feel like the quality maybe was there, was probably superior back then.
I want to ask you guys both a question. What do you guys feel is like? And we'll end off probably talking like this. What do you guys feel as if like was the last classic we got? Because that was something I was thinking about. Is like there really wasn't anything that like stuck with me like that. Let's say since 2018. Maybe Bandana.
Maybe Bandana. I'll have to see how Igor ages. I mean, it's practically not even hip hop, so I don't even know if I would, you know, consider it a classic hip hop album. But apart from that, I mean, in 2020, maybe it's too recent to crown anything a classic. But
Alfredo.
See how it ages. I personally need a couple of years to age. Like even 2018 is kind of a bit of a stretch for me to be like, okay, it's a classic.
But
album.
there's a couple in there that you could call classics. I say Daytona is a classic, that's for sure. I would say Astroworld is going to become a classic, that's for sure. Just it's still
that's why there's a lot of like future classics. There's a lot of albums that you could see kind of going into that, you know, that sort of stature. But I mean, for right now, I need more time to age with the music.
Absolutely.
What about you, Ayce?
Yeah, what do you got going on?
Yeah. Again, when you said classics as of recently, my mind instantly went to Igor. But again, we do need to give that a little bit more time, I think. As for 2018, I think Astral will definitely be a classic in Travis's discography. It's my personal favorite Travis album. A lot of people, yeah, it's a great album, and
it is a great album.
Yeah.
What else do you got in there?
I feel like the next Kendrick release I'm hoping that it is going to become a classic, but I can't. Yeah, I don't know where
crazy.
He's trying to go.
People are wishing for a classic before it even comes out. I guess that's just the standard.
The pressure that Kendrick has right now to deliver is crazy.
But I mean, listen, regardless of the pressure that's going to be delivered, I think he is going to be dropping quality, as I always say. And listen, guys, thank you for coming in and watching throughout this whole video. Thank you, Ayce, for coming in here, and thank you for everyone who actually dropped comments in this. It's always fun kicking in with you guys. Like these conversations are much more relaxed or high tempo, as you guys saw throughout it. But it's all love, and thank you guys for supporting. supporting us. At the time of recording this, I think we're at like 5K subs now, so that was pretty cool. And it's nice to see how many people are coming into this. So thank you from our end. Thank you guys for watching the whole video. Hit that subscribe button to join the family. We're doing weekly reviews. We're giving you guys all the updates in the industry. Plus, we have our series called What to Expect, where we actually take you through the album before it drops. Plus, if you guys want to chat with us, you guys could join our Discord server. The link is in the bio. You guys could talk hip hop with us there. Thank you guys for watching again. And guys, I'll see you on the next one.